The first rule of combat: shoot them before they shoot you. This world is survival of the fittest, and eventually you either play others or they play you. So always be on the move. Always make it up as you go along. Easy come, easy go. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. She who lives is she who can get back on her feet and not get too hung up on her losses. Only a fool puts everything into one roll of the dice, or one hand of cards, or one other person. You always need to have at least one more trick up your sleeve. I've learned that if you put your trust in other people, you're only going to be let down. Because in the end, all you have is yourself. Friends, family, those sound nice on paper, but you'll only end up worrying yourself into an early grave. You see, everyone is transient. Everything is transient. So let go. Scientists, they say humans are social animals, but a wise man once said, hell is other people, so I say it's better to leave them before they leave you, and honestly, you're going to do them a favor by going. Attachments are a messy business, and in this line of work, you can't afford those risks. You learn to blend in. You learn to swap identities like you swap clothes. You learn how others see you, and you learn how you can use that to your advantage. You learn you're not yourself. Not ever only one person, but anything and everything to everyone else. To him, you're a victim. To her, you're a threat. To them, you're lazy. And to you, I'm whatever you want me to be. There's a different version of you reflected in each person's eyes. Identify it. Understand it. And those labels become your power over them. Nothing is absolute, and nothing is forever. That has always been the lesson. It was supposed to be simple. And yet, when will I ever learn? Cowboy Bebop is a gift that keeps on giving. Every time I rewatch it, I get something new out of it. And this most recent time, it was Faye that struck me. Sometimes I'll purposefully try to view a show from a different character's point of view. Like, I'll decide at some point, okay, this time, this character is the main character, and everything is their story. And this time around, it really felt fulfilling to view Cowboy Bebop as the story of Faye Valentine. She was born in 1994 to a wealthy family in what is probably Singapore. Then, in the future year of 2014, at age 20, she was on board a shuttle near the Earth's orbit when everything in her life suddenly stopped. The image of the moon split in half, and her life split in half. From this moment on, there would be two Fays. The Faye who spent 20 years of life living on Earth, and the Faye who woke up 54 years later from a cryogenic sleep, perfectly preserved, a so-called sleeping beauty, except with all her memories gone. The doctor didn't expect the memory wipe. Maybe it was some unforeseen consequence of the freezing, or maybe it was trauma-related and more of a psychological defense. In either case, one of Faye's first impulses is to beg everyone around her for details on who she was before. But the records have been lost, and no one seems to have any idea. To make matters worse, Faye has accrued debt with interest that adds up to a total of over 300 million wulong, an absolutely impossible sum of money for one person to accumulate by any honest means. No wonder our first experiences of Faye are of a woman on the run, a woman playing into any rich crook's hands and betting on wild gambles and chasing after bounties. Admittedly, each opportunity would only have a very small chance of succeeding. But if it did pay out, and if it paid out big, it could change everything. A love story unfolds between her and her lawyer, Whitney Haggis Matsumoto. He urges her to fight on that someday, perhaps, she might get her memories back, or she might meet someone wonderful. Of course, he soon betrays her trust, scams her by adding his own debt to her growing bill. This was no doubt one of the first formative experiences that would lead Faye to believe she can't trust other people, that everyone else is in it for themselves, so she might as well be too. Spike isn't sure he can believe this wild story. Faye had told him a fake backstory at least once before, so he's skeptical on this one too. But later he does hear confirmation, and he learns with Faye that her last name, Valentine, isn't even her own last name, but something the doctor had just chosen on a whim. What did Faye even have to her identity, other than a name? And now half of that was fabricated too? All she's left with are Betamax tapes that capture a childhood she can't remember. Life on a Singapore coast, collecting seashells, a version of her that's quiet and confident instead of loud and cautious. She looks at the camera almost through it and at an adult on the other side, and she says, "Today, you are who you are today. You're me, but a newer version of me." The young girl apologizes for always causing trouble for others. That much the two Fays seem to have in common. But as the older Faye watches, this young girl is a stranger to her. She has no memory of recording this tape or ever being this person, who keeps cheering over and over, "Don't lose me. Don't lose me." We are who we are so much because of how we remember and interpret our experiences. I might appreciate a good friend because I remember what it was like when I felt alone, or what it was like to have a bad friend. And I know my personality because of what others have said about me and how I remember the ways in which I've acted in different situations. The shows and movies I've watched, the games I've played, the music I've listened to, all my interests and hobbies and obsessions coalesce to form this gestalt, this image of me to myself. All the people in my life who are gone now are only real to me through memories. And it's through those memories of the good times and the bad times that I've grown or changed. But if suddenly one day that's all gone, if suddenly it's a blank slate, what would I be left with? Who would I even be if I don't know anything I've ever done or anything I've ever experienced? Recently, one of my older family members has started to experience memory loss from Alzheimer's or dementia. It's too early yet to say how things are going to go, and she's too stubborn to get tests done. It hasn't reached the point where she's forgotten who people are, but we have to prepare emotionally for that real possibility. Our memories define so much of who we are, but they can be fragile and unreliable. We forget things, and then they never come back. And it's not like you're safe until you're old. Any one of us could get into an accident and lose a part of ourselves, or lose everything, all at once, through no fault of our own. Faye chases after her past. She runs after it and finds that her old house is simply gone. There's nothing left of where it used to be. She tells Sally Young, her old forgotten friend from high school and her friend's granddaughter, that she is just a wandering ghost. When watching Cowboy Bebop from the lens of Faye's story, I was struck by how much Edward's departure seems to matter. Originally, I kind of just thought of Ed as the least important member of the group, kind of a joke comic character. But really, when Ed leaves, that's the first person to go, along with Ein, and it's the innocence, it's the levity, the laughter, gone just like that. And when Faye is there hearing the message from Ed's father, she seems so touched by it, and touched by this notion that we need to treasure the few real connections we have left in this world. Faye's character is tragic, but she's not a hopeless character, because she still has a chance to live for something new. No, she can't return to her past, but none of us can either. Once it's gone, it's gone. Faye can either chase after something that isn't there, or she can try to hold on to what is real now. And for her, that's the Bebop crew. That's her new home and her new family. We're always being swept with the tide. Time, an invisible current pushing us forward, sometimes gently, sometimes violently. I heard an echo say, "In your time, I'm no longer here, but I am here today, and I'll always be cheering for you, my future self." And I say we're ephemeral, fairies fluttering through waking dreams. We're still the same people we were as children, still that same core person, and yet there's never really only one self, is there? Every day we're changing, from a molecular level to a psychological level. Look, I'm no scientist, but I know I'm not who I used to be. And who I am today, again I never will be. Always the tide. But we can choose to keep our promises. And when I say next time we'll do something, that means I'm sticking with you. I used to worry that I would be alone, but now I assert myself and I reach out. I used to worry I'd be a burden, but now I know better that I can belong. And maybe they're right when they say I'm walking trouble, because sometimes I need my friends to help bail me out. But I can play the caretaker role too. And if my friends push themselves too hard or put themselves in danger or keep making stupid decisions, I'll chew them out and fight if I need to. And yet, easy come, easy go is easier said than done. Because sometimes people do go, and it's rarely, if ever, easy. What good does it do you, all this sentimental investment, if the people you care about most won't be there forever? If no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, things change, you can't stop free will or fate, and you're going to get left behind anyway. If each time you watch them fly away, because nothing is absolute, and nothing is forever, and holding on against the tide might be useless in the end, if we're all just going to get swept away anyway. Often, it's true, the harder you hold on, the more pain you feel. I wish I could say I figured it out. I wish I could say I had the answer to it all and some magical remedy to these fears and worries, but I haven't. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Anytime you choose to get close to someone, you are making a bet. It can pay off and be the best thing in your life, or at any point, Lady Luck can leave you reeling. However, if you don't make the bet, if you don't try your hand at it, you will miss out on every opportunity, and I can't afford to take that risk. So I try again, and again, to rebuild a home. This is the new lesson, and I keep learning it every day.